You pull up your bank statement at the end of the month and something doesn't add up. You earned a decent paycheck. You didn't buy anything crazy. You didn't go on vacation. You didn't even eat out that much. But the balance is basically the same as last month. Maybe worse. And you're sitting there scrolling through transactions thinking, where is it all going? And the frustrating part is nothing looks wrong. Rent, car, insurance, phone, utilities, a few subscriptions, normal stuff, responsible stuff, the stuff that adults just pay. But here's what I've realized after spending years studying the gap between people who build wealth and people who stay stuck. The biggest drain on your money isn't the big, obvious purchases. It's the bills you never question because they feel normal, the ones that auto-draft every month without you even thinking about them. And 5 of these normal bills are costing the average person between $400 and $650 per month more than they need to, quietly, invisibly, for years. That's $4,800 to $7,800 per year. Invested over 20 years, roughly $236,000 to $382,000. From bills you assumed were just the cost of being alive. My name is Max, and I want to help you learn how to make your money work more for you in your life. This channel is about looking at the financial details everyone else ignores, the specific line items that silently determine whether you build wealth or stay stuck. If you want to stop wondering where your money goes, subscribe, because this is what we investigate here. So here's the common belief. My bills are my bills. They're fixed. There's nothing I can do about them. And honestly, it feels true. When a bill says $180, you pay $180. You don't negotiate with your phone company. You don't comparison shop your car insurance every 6 months. You don't audit your subscriptions because they're $12 here and $15 there. How much could they really matter? They matter enormously. Because the companies sending you those bills are counting on your passivity. They're counting on the fact that once you set up auto pay, you'll never look at the number again. And every year, they quietly raise it by 5% or 10%, knowing you won't notice because you're busy, because the increase is small, and because you've mentally filed these bills under fixed expenses. But they're not fixed. They're negotiable. And the gap between what you're paying and what you could be paying is funding someone else's wealth instead of yours. Think of it this way. Imagine you're carrying a backpack and someone, without telling you, has been adding small rocks to it every few months. Each rock weighs almost nothing. You don't notice any single one being added. But after 3 years, the backpack weighs 40 pounds and you're exhausted, wondering why life feels so heavy. That's what normal bills do. Each one is a small rock. Together, they're crushing your ability to build wealth. The 5 bills I'm about to walk through are the rocks. And once you remove them or reduce them, you'll feel a lightness that no raise or bonus can replicate. Because the money was always there. It was just hidden in plain sight. But here's where it gets really interesting. Let me show you each one. The first bill is your car insurance premium. The average American pays about $1,770 per year, roughly $148 per month, for auto insurance. And most people renew the same policy with the same company year after year without ever comparing prices. But here's what the insurance industry doesn't advertise. Rates vary dramatically between companies for the exact same coverage. Studies from the National Association of Insurance Commissioners have found that the same driver can be quoted prices that vary by 50 to 100% depending on the insurer. The average person who comparison shops their auto insurance saves between $50 and $100 per month. Let's use the conservative number. $50 per month, that's $600 per year. Invested at 8% for 20 years, that $50 per month becomes approximately $29,400 just for making one phone call or spending 30 minutes on a comparison website once a year. The psychology of why you don't do this is well documented. It's called status quo bias. Your brain's preference for the current state of affairs over change, even when change is objectively better. Switching insurance companies feels like effort and risk. Keeping the same policy feels safe. but that safety is costing you $600 a year. Your brain's comfort preference has a price tag, and it's higher than you think. And here's the detail that makes this even more frustrating. Insurance companies count on your status quo bias. They offer low introductory rates to acquire you as a customer, then raise your premium by 5 to 15% per year, knowing that most people will never shop around. You're being charged a loyalty tax, or literally paying more for staying than a new customer would pay for the same coverage. The companies reward switching, not loyalty. And once you understand that, the emotional resistance to changing providers starts to feel a lot less rational. The second bill is your phone plan. The average American pays about $144 per month for their wireless plan. And most people are on plans designed 5 or 6 years ago, built around data limits that no longer reflect how they use their phone. Many are paying for unlimited data on networks where they're almost always on Wi-Fi. Others are locked into carrier plans that cost 40 to 60% more than comparable prepaid or MVNO options from companies like Mint Mobile, Visible, or Google Fi. The average savings from switching to an optimized phone plan is $50 to $80 per month. Let's call it $60. That's $720 per year. Invested at 8% for 20 years, approximately $35,300 from your phone bill, a bill you probably haven't looked at in years. Now, you might be thinking, but I need a reliable network. The cheap plans are bad. That was true in 2015. It's not true now. Most budget carriers run on the exact same towers as the major networks. You're paying a premium for a brand name, not a better signal. And that premium is costing you $35,000 over 2 decades. The third bill, and this one is sneaky, is subscription stacking. Not one subscription. The cumulative weight of all of them together. The average American now spends about $219 per month on subscriptions. Streaming services, music, cloud storage, meal kits, app subscriptions, gym memberships, software, news sites. And most people drastically underestimate their total subscription spend. A West Virginia University study found that the average person estimated their monthly subscriptions at about $86, less than half of what they actually paid. You're spending roughly $133 more per month than you think on subscriptions alone. The problem isn't any single subscription, it's the accumulation. And the psychology is a concept called mental accounting, your brain's tendency to evaluate each expense in isolation, rather than as part of a whole. $15 for Netflix feels trivial. $11 for Spotify feels trivial. $13 for a meditation app feels trivial. But $15 plus $11 plus $13 plus $17 plus $10 plus $12 plus $8 plus $6. Suddenly you're at $92 from trivial expenses alone. And you're using maybe 4 of them regularly. The fix is a subscription audit. Cancel everything. Yes, everything. Then resubscribe only to the services you actively miss after 2 weeks. Most people find they missed 2 or 3. The rest? They were paying for habit, not value. Average savings from a ruthless audit, $80 to $120 per month. Let's use $100. Invested at 8% for 20 years, $58,900. Here's a practical test that works even better than the cancel everything approach, if that feels too extreme. Go through your bank statement right now and find every recurring charge. Write them all down with the monthly amount. Then next to each one, write the last time you actually used it. If you can't remember, or if it's been more than 3 weeks, cancel it today. Not tomorrow, today. Because here's what happens tomorrow. You forget. The bill becomes invisible again, and it drafts for another month, and another. The urgency is now because your brain will renormalize the expense within 24 hours. The fourth bill is your insurance coverage overlap. This one is genuinely hidden from most people. If you have renters or homeowners insurance, auto insurance, and a credit card with purchase protection, there's a good chance you're paying for overlapping coverage without realizing it. Extended warranties on electronics, rental car insurance add-ons, accidental damage protection on your phone plan. Many of these are already covered by your existing policies or credit card benefits. The average person pays $30 to $60 per month in redundant insurance coverage. Let's call it $40. That's $480 per year for protection you already have through other policies. The reason you're paying it is a combination of fear, what if I need it, and complexity. The terms and conditions of your existing coverage are buried in documents you've never read. The fix takes about an hour. Call your insurance company. Ask exactly what's covered under your existing policy. Then call your credit card company and ask the same thing. You'll be surprised how much overlap exists. That 1 hour of phone calls saves you $480 per year, which is $23,500 over 20 years when invested. And the fifth bill is the one that makes the biggest difference and gets the least attention, your housing premium. I'm not talking about your rent or mortgage, that's the base cost. I'm talking about the premium you're paying above what you actually need. The extra $150 per month for the apartment that's slightly closer to the trendy part of town. The extra $200 for the second bathroom you use as a storage closet. The extra $100 for the in-unit laundry you could replace with a $2 trip to the laundromat downstairs. Most people, when they honestly evaluate their housing, are paying $100 to $300 per month more than they need for features that provide marginal quality of life improvement. And this is the part most people miss. Housing is usually the single largest line item in your budget, which means even a 5 to 10% reduction represents significant money. If you're paying $1,800 and could be equally comfortable at $1,600, that $200 per month, invested at 8% for 20 years, is approximately $117,600. The psychology here is powerful. Housing is deeply tied to identity and social status. Your apartment or house is a signal to yourself and to others about where you are in life. And that signal function makes you willing to overpay for features that serve the signal more than they serve your life. The extra $200 doesn't buy you more comfort. It buys you a story you tell about yourself. And that story is costing you $117,600. And I know this might sound like I'm telling you to live in a worse apartment. I'm not. I'm telling you to evaluate whether the premium features you're paying for actually improve your daily experience or just improve the description. 2-bedroom in the Arts District sounds better than 1-bedroom near the park. But if you spend 95% of your time in one room and the Arts District means a 20-minute longer commute, the premium is buying a description, not a life. And descriptions don't compound. Investments do. Now let me put all 5 together, because the combined number is what makes this genuinely life-changing. Auto insurance savings, $50 per month. Phone plan optimization, $60 per month. Subscription audit, $100 per month. Insurance overlap removal, $40 per month. Housing premium reduction, $200 per month total, $450 per month. $450 per month invested at 8% for 10 years. Approximately $82,800. For 20 years, about $265,000. For 30 years, roughly $665,000, 2/3 of $1,000,000 from 5 bills you thought were fixed. The identity shift here is critical. The person who audits their bills and redirects $450 per month to investments isn't being cheap. They're being strategic. They've moved from passive bill payer to active financial architect. They look at every recurring expense with the same question. Is this serving my life, or is it serving my inertia? And that question, asked consistently, separates people who build wealth from people who fund other people's wealth through monthly autopay. You're probably wondering what this financial freedom actually feels like in practice. You get an unexpected $1,800 car repair bill. Before the audit, this would have gone on a credit card. After redirecting $450 per month for a year, you have over $5,400 in additional investments, plus your emergency fund. The repair is covered without debt, without stress, and without disrupting your investment contributions. A job opportunity opens up that pays 15% more but requires relocating. The moving costs are $4,000. Before the audit, that's an impossible barrier. After 1 year of redirected bills, it's a strategic investment you can fund. The career move happens. The salary increase accelerates everything. A friend mentions an investment opportunity. A small business, a rental property, a side project. Before the audit, you had no available capital. After 2 years of redirected bills, you have over $12,000 in investments beyond your emergency fund. You can evaluate the opportunity on its merits instead of dismissing it because you can't afford it. And the career effects are where this really compounds. When your fixed bills are optimized and $450 per month is flowing to investments automatically, your financial stress drops measurably. And lower financial stress translates directly to better work performance, clearer thinking, and higher confidence. You negotiate your next raise from a position of calm rather than desperation. You take on challenging projects because the financial cushion makes risk manageable. And you make career decisions based on growth rather than survival. People with lower fixed expenses need less income to be comfortable, which means they have more leverage in every negotiation. The person paying $450 per month, less in bills, needs $5,400 less per year in salary to maintain their lifestyle. That financial margin translates to career freedom that people with bloated bill loads simply don't have. Think about what that means concretely. If your optimized monthly expenses are $3,200 instead of $3,650, you can survive on $38,400 per year instead of $43,800. That $5,400 difference means you can take a career risk that someone with higher bills can't. You can pursue the job with equity upside but lower base salary. You can take the entrepreneurial leap with a smaller runway. You can say, I need time to consider this during a negotiation because your burn rate gives you weeks of thinking time that a higher bill person doesn't have. Lower bills don't just save money, they buy time. And time, in career decisions, is the ultimate currency. Now, I have to warn you about two traps. The first trap is reducing one bill and immediately increasing another. You save $60 on your phone plan and use it to upgrade your streaming package. Net savings, zero. The redirect has to go to investments, not to other spending. Automate the transfer the same week you reduce the bill. The second trap is doing the audit once and never revisiting it. Bills creep, insurance rates change, new subscriptions sneak in. Set a calendar reminder every 6 months to repeat the audit, 20 minutes twice a year, protecting $665,000 in lifetime wealth. That's the highest paid 20 minutes of your year.
So here's where I want to leave you.
You're not broke because you earn too little. You're not stuck because you lack discipline. You're paying $450 more per month than you need to on bills that feel normal. Because the companies billing you designed them to feel normal. They want your passivity. They profit from your inertia. And every month you don't audit, you're funding their business model instead of your financial future. But now you see the rocks in the backpack, and you know how to take them out. One phone call for insurance, 30 minutes for the phone plan, 1 evening for the subscription audit, 1 hour for the coverage overlap, 1 honest evaluation of your housing, 5 actions, 5 hours of total effort, and a potential $665,000 difference over the next 30 years.